life-changing information. I mean, I think you guys are just fantastic. So I want to first and foremost thank you guys for being on today's broadcast. Now, get those questions ready because we'll be going live with your questions in about a couple of minutes. So make sure you have those questions ready and prepared to go. As I stated, we are currently live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and also Periscope. So we are getting ready to make this big bad boy happen right now. But first, let's go over a couple of things. I want to first of all tell you guys about our brand new Real Deal meetup that we have. It's called the Baltimore REI Network Mixer, powered by the Real Deal meetup. My wife and I will be hosting that meetup on May the 23rd at the Lord Baltimore Hotel Sky Bar, 19th floor. So if you're able to come, we would hope that you guys can make it. It's going to be a fantastic networking event. It is what I like to call pure networking. I mean, we're going to have business professionals from all different levels, owners, CEO, CFO, CAO, you name it. They're going to be right there at this mixer. So it's a perfect opportunity to hobnob with your peers and the other individuals that you want to really get to know in the Maryland, DC, Virginia, Philadelphia, New York, Delaware region. Everyone will be there in the house on May the 23rd. Next, we also have our Real Deal meetup event that happens on May the 26th. Now, I'm telling you guys, I'm sorry, May the 25th. The fourth Saturday of every month, the Real Deal meetup is the #1 meetup in this region. We have over 8,000 members, and we're the #2 largest meetup in the nation. So head on over to therealdealmeetup.com to basically get there in the house. Make sure you guys are available. And we're going to make sure you guys get all the information you need to have a successful real estate investing business. Now, on Instagram, if you can hear me, let me hear you say, yes, I can hear you, Mad Scientist. Yes, Mad Scientist, we can hear you. Facebook, if you can hear me, let me get those, I can hear you, and so on. Kathy, welcome to the broadcast. Dorsey, welcome to the broadcast. Davis, welcome to the broadcast on Instagram. Michelle, welcome to the broadcast on Periscope. Welcome to the broadcast on Twitch. Welcome, 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 welcome. Last but not least, I want to tell you guys about our Real Meals and Deals event. Now, the Real Meals and Deals event is the meetup that we do at Ida B's Table, located at 235 Holiday Street. And that's going to be a fantastic meetup. We have a lot of opportunity for you guys to network with us at these events. We have individuals that are going to be what we call our Duru interviews. And at the Duru interviews, that's where we have a local expert we call a Duru. Now, I know what some of you are saying. What in the heck is a Duru? Well, a Duru is someone who is not only doing the business, but he can also talk about the business. He actually can give you knowledge about the business. So that's what we call a Duru. He's not a guru. Don't ever call any of my people gurus. We are Durus. It's a phrase that I coined about 10 years ago. I started talking about Durus. So we're going to have what we call Duru interviews at the next Real Meals and Deals, hosted by myself, my lovely wife, and Corey Banks, Agent 007. So make sure you come there, guys. Once again, just go to therealdealmeetup.com. That's therealdealmeetup.com. Let's see who we got in the broadcast. Tom, good morning, my friend from sunny Florida. How you doing, my brother? Romel, welcome, my friend, to the broadcast on Facebook. Kathy, again, welcome to the broadcast on Facebook. Let's see. Plain, welcome to the broadcast on YouTube. Dorsey, welcome to the broadcast on Instagram. Davis, welcome to the broadcast on Instagram. I am so glad you guys decided to spend this Friday morning with yours truly, the Mad Scientist. As a matter of fact, if you're happy just being here today, hit it up. I want to see some likes. I want to see some hearts. I want to see some happy, smiling faces. I want to see it all throughout this broadcast, because if you do that, I'm going to give you guys some great information that's going to blow your mind as a bonus. I'm telling you. Heart it up, like it up, comment it up. You will be getting a bonus at the end of the broadcast for those of you that will stay tuned. Tom, I agree, my friend. It is great. Okay? Get those questions ready. If you have any questions, I want you guys to get those questions ready, because we will be making it live. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, first question. Or should I tell you guys, first and foremost, if you want to submit your questions, because a lot of times you see me reading these actual questions live, if you want to submit your questions to the broadcast, you can just head over to charles@realdealmeetup.com. charles@realdealmeetup.com. You can also send me an email, or you could also just basically say, Charles, hey, you stop me on the street, stop me looking at houses. Charles, I got a question I want you to cover on the broadcast, and we can cover on the broadcast. Or you can do what some of you guys are already doing. You're waiting to the broadcast to come in order to ask your questions. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tom, congratulations on closing a deal in 21213. Definitely tell us about it when you get a chance on the broadcast, man. Congratulations. You are a true people connector, my friend. Anton, thank you for being on the broadcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, let's go ahead and get this party started. Let's talk about your questions that you have in real estate investing today. Now, the first question came from Ron, and he asked, on the last session, you talked about cold calling. What is the best time to do cold calling? Well, as I mentioned in the last session, Ron, great question first and foremost. On average, we do somewhere between 8 and 10,000 cold calls per month. That's what my team do. And as far as what is the best times we do it, we have, first of all, I believe in you should not be working your cold calling team more than 3 to 4 hours. Any one person. I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because after 3 to 4 hours, their productivity will go down. So you don't want to work these people 5, 6, 7 hours doing cold calling. So the best opportunity you're going to have is working them for a few hours. I've done this for the last probably year and a half with our team that's doing the cold calling. You want to basically do a few hours, and the time frame in which we do it, we do somewhere between 9 and 1, and then 9 to 1, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and also between 4 and 8 p.m. Those are the times. So basically, my people are alternating. If you have a one-man show, you'll do it from 9 to 1 on one day, and you'll do it from 4 to 8 on another day. So keep this in mind. You want to be fresh. Your people want to be fresh, bug-eyed, not going to work. So make sure you stay on top of your numbers. Make sure you know exactly what your actual call to close ratio is, how many people have houses in your actual database that you're doing these cold callings for, how many people are saying yes, how many appointments are setting up. That's another aspect to the cold calling. But the key here is the best times that we've seen are 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, of course, on the weekend, pretty much same time frame, but you can go both times in a weekend. And the reason why I say that is because most individuals, do not work on the weekend. So it's an opportunity for you to go ahead and seriously make that work. Now, can you dig it? I'm asking you, can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
What can I say? I don't know what to do with myself sometimes. So thank you guys for that question. Let's see what else we got going on out there. We have a really technical difficulty on Instagram. So let's go ahead and refresh Instagram and get that up and running again. Next question though. Our next question is coming from Michael, and Michael asks, I've been marketing for deals for 2 months now and still have not done my first deal. What am I doing wrong? First thing in all, Michael, let me tell you something.
Our next question is
It took yours truly. I'm going to tell you this. I tell this story to a lot of individuals, so I'm going to tell this again right now. It took yours truly, the mad scientist, almost one whole year to get my first deal in this business. It took yours truly. You heard me right. One whole year to get my first deal. Damn! So I know what you're saying. One whole year. What was you doing wrong? It wasn't that I was doing anything wrong. I was just putting all the pieces together. You have to get in your stride when it comes to this business. So somebody that's been in the business for 2 months, do not, and I'll say again, do not give up on this business. Because real estate investing can do whatever you want it to do for you. But you have to have consistency in the marketplace. Now, here's what I mean. So somebody that's been in the business for 2 months, you have to have a plan that makes sense based on the strategy or the outcome you're trying to achieve. Okay, Rodham, welcome to the broadcast. Kirk, my man, welcome to the broadcast. Stephen, welcome to the broadcast. You guys, remember, if you have questions, type them in the actual comment section. I'll get your questions answered today on the broadcast. Going back to that question, as far as 2 months and not being able to do a deal, what do I suggest a person should do? The first thing first, you should be deciding yourself, like I mentioned earlier, 2 months is not a long time in this business. Not by any means is it a long time to be in this business and not have done a deal. You have to have a consistent plan in place that's going to give you the best opportunity for the results you want to achieve. That's the first thing. So the first thing I would say is examine exactly what you're doing. Make sure that all the tasks that you are currently doing or implementing in your business are tasks that's going to give you the results that you want to achieve. My favorite potion is this. Examine exactly what action plus offers equal profit. I'm going to say it again. Action plus offers equal profit. Keep that formula in mind in your etched in your memory bank. Because here's what it means. If you are putting forth the right action, going after motivated sellers, targeting motivated situations, bringing in the best avatars for your deals, you can't help but put offers, or should I say you can't help but receive offers. Going after the last part of that equation is you're going to make profit. Bringing in the best. Does everything have to fall in line? Absolutely it does. Absolutely it has to fall in line. You can't just have the action, but also not have the ability to negotiate and structure the deal. So yes, you have to pull all those pieces together. That's why I said 2 months for some may not be enough time to pull all the pieces, all the knowledge together to a cohesive place where you can close on a consistent basis. So yes, you have to pull. That's all we're here for. Our desire is to close again and again and again. Action plus offers equal profit. Let's see what questions we have out here. Tom says, what is your favorite strategy to find, is it country rehab deals or county rehab deals? My favorite strategy, Tom, I really love list brokers, and I love the ability to dig down into two of my favorite lists. That is inheritance leads and also probate liens. So those are two of my favorite lists. Now, as far as what you say, county rehab deals, it's the product of the criteria that I'm searching for. So if I'm looking for deals to rehab, I'm looking for deals that have equity. I'm looking for deals of long-term ownership, deals where there may be a situation where the person who owns the property has been in it for 25, 30 years, 40 years or more, and that person now has a property that is dated, but they also could be in trouble. So here's a criteria that I love, and we've gotten a boatload of deals from. And it's 5 levels deep, because I don't believe in just throwing something against the wall and seeing what sticks. We're talking 5 levels.
You can't handle the truth.
Now, here's what I mean. Level 1, absentee owner. Level 2, in your targeted zip code. Level 3, with equity in their property. Level 4, high income to debt ratio. Level 5, multiple.
You can't handle the truth.
That's 5 levels deep. That, my friend, is when you get a call back from that seller, when that person opens up your mail and goes to your website, and that person you speak to, you know for a fact that there's an opportunity for a deal. That's what I call targeting the results, building the perfect avatar. Great question time. So, Instagram, welcome my friends to the broadcast. Once again, we are streaming live on 5. Nobody does it like Charles Blair and the Real Deal Meetup. Nobody. 5 different social sites. And I'm glad you guys are here today. Ronald, welcome. Brian, welcome. Rodman, welcome. Kirk, welcome. Stephen, again, welcome to the broadcast. Let's go on to the next question. Next question comes from Michael. Actually, the next question comes from Cassandra. How do I find vacant property information? Great question, Cassandra. And there's a lot of tools, resources, and strategies out there to skip trace and find the owners of vacant properties. But I'm going to give you I would call this my vacant property sheet list. Great question. And I give this to all the people in our company who we're doing vacant properties with and so on. So here's the breakdown. Picture this scenario. You're driving in a neighborhood. You identify a property that looks vacant, or a property where, as we look for driving for dollars, look like the worst house in the best neighborhood. So the first thing that we would do is we would knock the door and see if the person is living there. If the person isn't living there, step number 2 is we would knock the doors of the neighbors, side by side, left, right, and across the street, until we can find out any information as to where that person who owns that property is at. So first thing first, we're going to knock the doors of the neighbors. After we do that, then you can go back to your favorite app and pull the property up and see if you can find out the owner's information, and basically see if it's the same address or if it's a different mailing address. If it's a different mailing address from the property that you're standing in front of, you just found maybe where that person has moved to. However, if that information hasn't changed and it's still showing up as that property that you're standing in front of, as the property that you're calling the vacant property, the next step you're going to want to do is do a soft skip trace. And what I call a soft skip trace. Depending on if you have money or not, you may want to use a service like PIPL or yellowpages.com. Since you already have the owner's name and information, you could put it in these 2 different databases and see if it spits out any social profiles or social sites where you could basically reach out to that person or any relatives of that person. Now, if that doesn't work, the next thing you want to do is basically do what we call a hard skip trace on the person. And there's a couple of services that you can use. For my company, we use TLO. I have access to TLO as a way to do skip tracings for when we're doing singular type of searches. You can also do services like REI Skip. There's so many different services out there you can use for the skip tracing purpose to find telephone numbers or relatives' telephone numbers of that person. Last but not least, you want to do what we call a dominant skip trace. Now, what's a dominant skip trace? When everything else fails, when need to skip failed, REI skip trace failed, TLO failed, you can't find anything about that person, then we'll hire a private detective who is familiar with skip tracing in order to find that person. I have a couple of people that we worked with in the past only on sparing situations, because the majority of the time we're going to find that individual from one of the above techniques or one of the above strategies we talked about. So I'm going to take that case over to that PI, that professional skip tracer, and I'm going to pay him $35 to $55 to see if he can find the address, telephone number, or relatives information for that person. So that's the process that we do in my company. Majority of the time, it starts with the neighbors, and then it winds up being a TLO or a actual need to skip website search for the person. So pretty much that's the process that most others are doing as well, with the exception of they may be using other services in order to find that person. I hope that answers your question, Cassandra. Let's see, who else has a question? Alex, thank you, my friend. With the exception of somebody's saying, Charles, there is an echo. So let's see if we can clear up that echo. Let's see, who else has a question? I hope that clears up the echo. Thank you for letting me know there's an echo in the actual audio. Let's see. What's your favorite strategy for, we talked about that one. Plain, I took care of that. Thank you for letting me know about the echo. We took care of that. Close the deal, 21223. Thank you. If that took care of the echo, let me know, guys. I just realized I had a double microphones on, so that's probably why we have that echo going on. Okay. Next question comes from Manny. Where do you, and I just really touched on this previously, but I didn't go into detail. Where do you buy your lists from? Great question. Where do we buy our lists from? I have a couple of sources. My number one source, if I'm looking for what I like to call exotic lists, that's right, I'm going to give this one to you guys. My number one source for exotic lists is what I call SRDS. Damn! I'm going to say it again. SRDS. That's the Standard Rate and Data Service. That's the company that we use in order to find the exotic list that we sometimes market to. Now, what we normally use, a broker that we've gotten off of SRDS, my favorite list broker is Dunhill International. There's a lot of list brokers out there and a lot of list companies out there. So if you have your favorite out there, I'm not telling you to change. You don't have to change. But my favorite one is Dunhill International. And I love the agent that we work with. Her name is Chrissy Milano. Chrissy is fantastic to work with. Great knowledge on our business. And very knowledgeable when it comes to list. And what we really want to look for is what we call a hot list. A lot of people talk about finding lists or working with list companies. The key to your list is whether it's hot or not. Now, here's what I mean by that. A hot list is a list that is refreshed on a regular basis. What do I consider a regular basis? It could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be bi-weekly. But if you have a list that's only being refreshed monthly, I'm not saying that it's not a hot list, but what I'm saying is that others will be out there getting that list before you will. Because your list source is actually populating the list on a monthly basis, meaning they're putting new content in that list once a month, every month. On the other hand, I want a list broker that does it on a daily, weekly basis because I want the fresh information as soon as I possibly can get it, as opposed to a month later. Now, you guys know, every last one of you know that we are in a competitive business. So what do I mean by that? The minute you start getting phone calls from a seller, 9 times out of 10, that seller hasn't only just reached out to you, they've also reached out to 2 or 3 other real estate investors because now they want to do comparative shopping. They want to basically say, okay, I know I'm talking to this guy, Charles, right here, but I'm going to see who else has something to offer me. Who else could give me a better price than this guy, Charles? That's where the whole process of building rapport comes into play, guys. The key to building rapport is try to put the person in the mindset as to, yes, they may be reaching out to other investors, but because they like, know, and trust you, they're willing to do business with you. So I digress. Let me get back to the question. Dunhill International is the favorite list broker that I work with. I have others as well, and I find my list brokers from a product that's called SRDS, or the Standard Rate and Data Service. It's nothing more than the yellow pages of all list brokers nationally. So you can find list brokers that have property, that have databases of real estate investors, databases of cash sellers, cash buyers, databases of people who have had a property they own, electricity been turned on. I mean, you can find all types of lists on Standard Rate and Data Service. It's expensive. It's not a cheap service. I believe it costs somewhere around $495 to $595 per quarter. So you only need to dig in it deep for 1 quarter. Extrapolate all the different list brokers you want to get in contact with. Bam, let the actual Standard Rate and Data Service fade away. You don't have to pay for a 2-month quarter, or quarter number 3, quarter number 4, whatever. So that's the list broking service that we love in order to find the list brokers to work with. And my favorite one is Dunhill International. Great question. Tanya asks, what systems do you have built within your Podio system? Tanya, you're going deep, my girl. You're doing deep on this one. And as a matter of fact, let me pull it up for you. So let's pull up my Podio and see if I could basically just show it to you guys. I'm going to go into Podio right now on the computer. Let's pull it up on the screen. Let's see, Podio. Let's log into Podio. We are logging in. And let's pull up the actual workstation for Maryland. Because you guys know we currently are in 6 different markets. And these are my actual Podio apps. So what you're asking me is, when you say the actual systems we have within Podio, Podio consider a system an app. And this is the breakdown of the apps. Now, truth be told, there's only about 5 or 6 apps in total that we are propagating with. We are using the most. Everything else just talks to the other apps. For example, my Seller Lead app is the main app that my team is using in order to put the systems or put the actual leads in the system. And then everything else feeds off of that Seller Lead app. So keep that in mind. We use the seller lead app to put everything in the system. And then once the actual stuff is in the seller lead app, people are notified on my team, my project manager, my lead acquisition officer, and myself. So those are the ones that are notified in the system. So now that they're in the system, what happens is my Podio person, I actually call him my Podio P. Name is Pete. Podio guy actually brings in the actual automation aspect of it. And here's what I mean by that. Once the actual lead comes in the system, what happens next is that person just brings the person to a point of, okay, well, I'm like, oh my God, you guys are seeing my leads. I got to get off that screen. Oh no, let's get off the screen. Hold on, let me get out of here. I'm not saying I don't trust you guys. I'm not saying that. But some of you guys may not be the best friends when it comes to playing with leads. Okay, so what happens is once you click on the Seller Leads app, my Podio Pete will go ahead and fill in the information, put the seller information in, or it will come in automatically. What I mean by come in automatically, it goes to the website, and then the person actually fills in that information on the website, and it goes directly into Podio. Now, we have a couple of lead pages that are out there that propagates the Podio. For example, we have our website, Chucky Buy Yucky Houses. We also have Chucky Pays More. We also have ChuckySellsMore.com. So when the individuals put that information in those different sites, depending on where they're at, it will go automatically into Podio, Seller's Lead app. And at that point, once it hits the Seller Lead app, the actual Podio, my actual Podio guy, will determine what type of lead it is based on the category that it is in, and then we'll go ahead and start the automation. Now, the automation that we have tied into the Sellers app is this. We have ringless voice message drop, we have text message drop, and we also have email. So all three of those automations will occur depending on the situation. And then we have to go further deep into breaking down what that situation looks like. But just keep that in mind. All three of those automations are already built into the system that happens based on what Podio, I keep on saying Podio Pete, based on what Pete says the deal has to go to. Now, once we go from the actual Seller's Lead app, it goes into the Properties app. This app right here. Now, the Properties app is pretty cool. What I love about the Properties app is the fact that when my lead agent is looking up that property in the Properties app, we're actually able, and I'm going to kid you not, we're actually able to pull any past history information of that property from Zillow and other sources. And then once we're in the Property app, we're able to automatically determine what the rehab cost is going to be. We're able to automatically to put together the offer and everything inside of the Properties app. That's how I have it built into my system. We're able to do all of that with clicks of buttons. I kid you not. I kid you not. That's how powerful Podio is when it comes to running your business. Now, from the actual audio app, we are going to the Offers app. Now, what I love about the Offers app is simple. The Offers app allow us to actually put in offers on deals that we've come across through the other apps. So once we put the offer in, it actually sends that person an email of the offer, and then it actually even tells that person now detailed information. It fills in the actual offer for the person. We got everything done. Bam, bam, bam. Click of a button. I told you. This bad boy is powerful. This whole Podio system took me about, I would say, a good 2-3 weeks to formulate it in my mind and then turn it over to my Podio developer to put everything into effect. We also are selling this as well, guys. So if you're interested in buying my Podio setup, let me know. Hit me up at my email. You can put it in the comment section. Charles, I'm interested in getting your system, and I'll give you guys all the details. But that's only 3 of the apps. Now, the next app I want to show you guys is this one right here. This is the under contract app. Basically, that lets us know that the property is under contract, and then it goes out to my closing person, who basically follows the deal through the closing prospect of marketing it to buyers, dealing with the title company, and so on. And then after that, we go into the main other sources, which is these actual apps right here. The rest of these are basically apps that does things through the automation, like our bulk slide broadcast app that basically sends out the bulk messages through ringless voice message, our messenger app that basically emails individuals, our text app that basically sends out the messages through tap text, and so on. Now, the main app, and these two right over here, I don't want to say the main app, but two key apps that in my system that we love for generating leads from Craigslist and other social sites is our Craigslist scraping app. And that's this app right here. We have what we call a for sale by owner and a for rent by owner. And we use these two apps, and let me click on one of them. We use these two apps to generate leads from individuals that are on Craigslist that we're trying to take over properties by way of guaranteed rent. We're trying to take over properties by way of tenant placement, and so on and so on and so on. And as you can see right now, we had a total of 1,031 leads that came in, new leads 964. Basically what this breaks down is we have a metrics that we've set up where we're only scraping the leads that we cite sources that we want. We're not scraping everything off of Craigslist. We have keywords in here to bring in only the targeted properties based on the keywords that we're using in the scraper to pull them in from Craigslist. And then at that point, once we pull them in for Craigslist, then we click a button and it sends the person an email telling them we're interested in their property, or it sends them a text message if it has a phone number for the actual post that's in Craigslist. And then it automatically does that every couple of days until the person responds. Then we can actually respond back to the person within the actual app. I tell you, this is a beast. I don't know anybody out there who has a Podio set up like mine. No, I'm just kidding. So that's pretty much our Podio setup for all the different systems that we have in it. Everything else is the technical stuff that my developer put in to make sure everything else is working. But besides that, that's it. I hope that answered your question, Tanya. Okay. Plain asks, do you do Facebook advertising for motivated sellers? If so, what are the tips you can recommend? First and foremost, everybody, I'm going to say this again. Everybody should be doing Facebook marketing. Now, why? First and foremost, it works. And for those of you out there who are saying Facebook marketing don't work, I'm going to tell you why it doesn't work. And I'm going to be blunt. That's because you don't know what you're doing. Because it works. We love virtual bandit signs as a way to find motivated sellers. Now, a virtual bandit sign is nothing more than an image of a picture on. In fact, let me pull the picture up and show you what our actual looks like. This is what our actual Facebook lead ad post looks like. And it says, get a fast and fair cash offer on your property in 10 minutes or less with no obligation to sell. We don't just buy houses, we build communities. Get a quote. So right there, when they click on that button that says get a quote, this button right here, let me tell you what happens. As soon as they click on that button, the ad, the Facebook lead ad, captures their name, email address, and telephone number.
Damn!
I kid you not. It actually captures all their information. Now, at that point, it also puts it into an Excel spreadsheet. So this is the actual, I don't know what you guys should be doing, but you should be taking a screenshot of this. This is the actual ad that we use, that we've tested, that give us the most results, deals, leads from Facebook lead ad. It's an actual image ad that's set up like an lead ad. So I hope that answers your question. Plain, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's see. We still have another 20 minutes to go. I want to thank all my viewers. Danny, welcome to the broadcast from Instagram. Helene, welcome to the broadcast from Instagram. And Dr. Mike Smith, welcome to the broadcast from Instagram. Remember, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. I am here to dump all of this crap out of my head and give it to you today. Hopefully, you can use it. So, remember, we got a lot of things coming up. Don't forget to head on over to therealdealmeetup.com. Check us out. Join our meetup. We got a fantastic meetup coming up soon. Let's get back to some questions. Let's see. Plain asks, just a follow-up to the Facebook question. Who do you target in Facebook ads? Oh my, you are crushing it. We're targeting our zip codes that we're interested in buying properties. That's what we're targeting. So we're going after individuals in the particular zip codes that we're interested in buying properties. That's one of our target sources. The other target source is we have what we call the motivated sellers list. For example, I talked about the list where we have absentee owners. I can actually upload that list into Facebook. Name, address, email address, telephone number, and that person will be targeted if their information matches what's in Facebook. So I can easily target the actual lists that we have once we upload them into Facebook. That's the way we're doing targeting as well. Hope that answers your question. Thank you for the follow-up. Let's see. Next question comes from Paul. What systems do you recommend for cold calling? Paul. Great question. Now, I highly recommend Mojo Dollar. That's what we're using. As a matter of fact, let's pull up the website for you guys. This is the website. I hope you can see my screen right now. It is coming up. We use Mojo Dollar for all of our actual cold calling. We have a 3-line system, and the actual 3-line system is $199. We also have, you can also get what's called the 1-line system for a total of $149. The 1-line system will dial a total of 100 calls per hour. The 3-line system will call a total of 300 calls per hour. So that's why we love Mojo Dollar. We love it. I started introducing these things to our network probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Now everybody is talking about it. Now, I told you guys, one of my favorite hashtags is #RealDealMeetup. Often imitated, never duplicated. That's the reason why. Because no one else out there gives you this type of content before everyone else. And that's why they call me the Mad Scientist. Can I get some hearts? Can I get some likes? Can I get some love? Let the people speak. Okay. Next question comes from Leon. And Leon wants to know, how do you find a VA to work with in your business? Now, Leon, I'm going to tell you this. Before you just decide to hire a VA, and I've been saying this for years, before you decide to hire a VA, make sure you know exactly how a task is supposed to be done when it's being done right. So here's what I mean. If you're going to hire a VA to do cold calling, you should have at least done cold calling yourself for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks. doing it yourself in your business, running whatever systems you're going to be using to do the cold calling. Do it yourself. Then once you do it yourself, create a step-by-step instructions that you can share. Here's where the money is made. That you can share with your VA. We call a standard operating procedure. So I don't care if you hire a VA that already knows how to do cold calling. That's fine. You want to hire a VA that already knows how to do cold calling, that's fine. But how do you know that VA is doing it right if you haven't done it yourself? Riddle me that. How do you know if it's being done right? That's why I urge you, please, before you outsource that task, give it to that VA. Do it for at least a couple weeks or a month. And I'm talking about cold calling now. I'm not talking about every task you have to do yourself. No, I'm not saying that. Although I do believe in creating a standard operating procedures for every task. Even if it's a matter of having your VA create that standard operating procedure by way of different software and tools you can use. But at least know how to do it so that you can speak with some type of relevance when you're talking to that person. That's what I'm recommending. I don't have a problem with you hiring somebody that knows more than you. I just don't want you to be succumbed to that person's knowledge because you don't know anything about it. So that's my recommendation. Sorry to get off my high horse. Let's get moving. Let's see. I think Miss Bliss asked, how can I get money to purchase property? It's priced below $50,000. Hard money and banks have a floor. I know. And truth be told, Miss Bliss, that is what we call redlining. And redlining can be illegal, especially if it's done based on the location. And as you know, a lot of the properties that's underpriced in this market, in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia, are in African-American neighborhoods, the lower income version of those neighborhoods. And you have lenders out there that refuse to go in those low income areas for a number of reasons, whether they're right or wrong. There's a number of reasons why lenders won't go underneath of that $50,000 cap. One of the reasons that they can legitimately say is that they don't hardly make any money on that loan. But I'm a firm believer of there's no such thing as a bad profit. So I don't think that holds water. But to get back to your answer of how you can get a loan when the lender isn't even lending the loan at $50,000 below, unfortunately, your solutions are very limited. You have to find a private lender, someone that believes in that deal. Now, your problem is the $50,000 because, truth be told, more often than not, that neighborhood is filled with a lot of board ups, a lot of issues in that neighborhood that I wouldn't even want to rent a property in that neighborhood, let alone buy one. So that has a lot to do with it. But keep that in mind. In that small price point, that low price point, you're looking at either private money or your own money. Because a lot of the lenders will say no. I'm not going to say every lender would say no. So my recommendation is to find a couple of, instead of what you would call dedicated lenders, find a couple of mortgage brokers. They have a lot of resources that their average bank or lender or hard money lender don't have. So look for mortgage brokers to see if they have any persons that have products that will deal with $50,000 or less purchase prices. Great question, Bliss. Thank you, guys. Thank each and every one of you for those questions. You guys are crushing it. Yes, this is new content, and yes, this is live. Question is, Charles, do you do virtual deals? And thank you, CT, for the question. Absolutely, we do virtual deals. I know some of you guys are wondering, how in the world is he streaming on all of these networks? This has to be pre-recorded. No. It is not pre-recorded. The actual time right now is 9:48 a.m. This ain't no recording. So answer your question, CT. This is the mad scientist putting it all together. Answer your question, CT. The question is, do you do virtual deals? Absolutely. We're currently investing in a total of 6 different markets: Maryland, DC, Virginia, Houston, Ohio, and Florida. And the way we're doing it in my main 3 markets, this is how we're doing it. I'm going to pull back the curtain. Are you ready? In my main 3 markets, we are actually wholesaling, rehabbing, buying, and holding tenant placement, owner structured financing. Have company in place, have rehabbers in place, have attorneys in place, yada, yada, yada. All of that is in my main 3 markets. So we have teams in place to do all that work in the main 3 markets. On my outside markets, Houston, Ohio, and Florida, we work with JV partners in those markets. My team, meaning my company, my marketing company is called Page One Success. My actual real estate company is called Chucky Buy Yucky Houses. So my marketing company will then, for those outside markets, all we're doing is lead generation. In other words, we're generating leads in Ohio. We're generating leads in Houston. We're generating leads in Florida. And then we send those leads to our JV partners that's on the ground. And we split the profits from those leads, from those deals, 50-50. I don't believe in working hard. Look at these hands. These are not hands of somebody that works hard. But this brain does. So the way we operate our virtual investing is this. My marketing company, Page One Success, generates the leads. We send the leads to our virtual partners in the other cities, other states, and we split the profits 50-50. That's how we're doing it, CT. I hope that answers your question. Instagram, let's see what we got going on. Thank you for being on the broadcast, B. Thank you for being on the broadcast on Instagram, Tom. Thank you for Lana for being on the broadcast. Let's see who else we got. Danny, thank you for being on the broadcast. Hello, Sweet. Thank you for being on the broadcast. Doctor's Mike. Thank you guys for being on the broadcast and submitting those questions on Instagram. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got a couple more questions. We got 10 minutes to go. So if you have a question, please submit it because we only have 10 minutes to go. Let's go. Okay, next question comes from Carlton, who asks, what's the first thing one should do to get started in real estate investing? Great question. I mean, great question. What's the first thing one should do to get started in real estate investing? I truly believe the first thing, the absolute first thing one should do is to make sure, I'm going to say this, come closer, come close. Make sure real estate investing is something that you really, really will commit to. I know it's not the answer you expected. I know. But you have to make sure this business model is something that you're going to commit to. You cannot treat this like a hobby. If you treat this like a hobby, this can be a very expensive hobby that could teach you a drastic lesson that's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you cannot treat this like a hobby. You have to have the right mindset that you're going to make this business work regardless. You got to put in the time. You got to do your hustle. It's not a business, it's a hustle. You have to put in your time to make it work. Listen to me. So once you're willing to decide that you've committed to do that, you're going to go all in. Now it's a product of just basically deciding which strategy suits your personality best, which strategy suits your current situation best. And run with it. Do you need a mentor? No, I'm not telling you that you need a mentor. Although I recommend getting a mentor if you can afford one. If you can get one free, then get one. But what I recommend is this. Hustle your ass off. Don't take no for an answer. Watch out for all those bad no-sayers, those influencers that are jealous, that are just getting your ears and tell you, you can't do this because you got this, don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have that. The hell with them. Make the commitment and stay with it over and over and over again. Don't give up after 1 month, after 2 months. Work your ass off to be successful, because it can make a hell of a change in your life. I kid you not. It will, if you just stick to it. Okay, let me get off my soapbox. You got me going, guys. Guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen, if this is some good information, I want to hear a comment. I want to hear a heart. I want to see a heart. I want to see a like. I want to see a smile. If you're in a good mood, if God has blessed you with waking you up today, heart it up, like it up, love it up. I want you, each and every one of you that's on this broadcast, I want you to reach and make a commitment to help somebody come along in this business. If it's no more than just to give a helping hand, get some helping advice. That's the whole method of the Real Deal Meetup. The Real Deal Meetup was started as a way to give back to the community, to help others be successful without any crap from gurus, no BS, no fluff, no sales. Just pure content. That, my friend, is the Real Deal Meetup way. Thank you, each and every one of you from Instagram. Thank you, each and every one of you from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Twitter. Periscope. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Henry, thank you for being in the broadcast. David, Jeff, my friend, I know you got on late, but thank you again, and thank you back at you. I think we covered all the actual questions. I have one more question, and Plain, this question is from you. Can you post that virtual bandit sign for Facebook again? Absolutely, Blaine. I will do that, Blaine. I will do that for you. Let me pull it up. Let me pull that virtual bandit sign up for you, Blaine, so that you can see it. And here we go. But thank you all for being on this broadcast. I am so happy that you guys took time out to make it here today. There was a lot going on, and I was kind of deciding whether or not I was going to do it today. I'll be honest with you. But my wife pulled me over and said, Charles, man, go ahead, get out there, give that information out there. People are looking, expecting to hear from you. You haven't done anything since last week. So go ahead and do your live Q&A session, because she's off today. So we plan on going out and spending our time together. So thank you for being on this broadcast. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. This is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist. If there's anything I could ever do to help you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, help you in your business, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can be reached at charles@realdealmeetup.com. That is charles@realdealmeetup.com. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Instagram. We're all over the places. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all, guys. Take care, and we'll see you on the next broadcast. Bye-bye.